Hello students, welcome. In this session, we'll see additional features of SQL. Additional features of SQL. As the name suggests, there are many other additional features of SQL that it provides. Some of them are out of our scope of syllabus. Some of them we'll be learning in the next few topics or sessions, and few you might have already know. So this session is a kind of total kind of more features that are provided by the SQL, but which you may not know as of now, or you'll be studying it later point of time, or some of the features should be out of your scope of the syllabus. So bearing that in mind, let's start this session. Some of the special features of the SQL are like various techniques for specifying complex retrieval queries. SQL provides a technique for doing a complex retrieval queries, like your nested queries, that is query within a query, right? That is called as nested query. Aggregate functions, grouping functions, joining tables, outer join, recursive queries, SQL views. All these things you will study in the future topics. Triggers. As you might already know, triggers are a technique wherein if there is a one update on a table, it will automatically create another event which should trigger something else and update another table. Right? For example, assume you have a bank account, and assume in the bank side they have two tables. One is for transactions and there is for balance amount. Right? So in that, once you do the withdrawal, that amount, if you do some withdrawal of money, that amount should be put up in the transactions table, and once that is successful of withdrawal is done, it should automatically trigger another event which should detect this amount from the balance table. Right? Only after successful completion of this amount debiting from your account, there should be another event which could update your balance. So this triggering of another event called as triggers, right? So how to do triggering, all those things will be there in the next topics, and then assertions and some commands for schema modifications. So these are various techniques that are provided by SQL, and even SQL has a various techniques for writing programs in various programming languages that include SQL statements to access one or more databases. As you know now, you'll be accessing the database through command prompt or a SQL prompt, right? You write a SQL command and directly interact with the database. But usually that won't be a case. Usually what happens is that when an application is hosted on the server, right, that server has to connect to a database to get some information and show it to a user. So in that case, in the server, the application might have been written in different languages. It may be written in Java, or it may be written in .NET, or it may be written in Perl, Python, PHP. But the SQL should have a support so that it can be used in a different languages, so that the application that is hosted, that application can connect to a DB, even though the application is written in a different language like Java, .NET also, right? So that's why this SQL provides a programming interfaces. For example, if you're using a Java programming language to build your application, that application can connect to a DB using JDBC, that is Java Database Connection, or SQLJ. Using these interfaces, it makes easier in a program to connect to a database. So SQL provides different programming interfaces for programming languages, right? Now, SQL has transaction control commands. These are used to specify units of database processing for concurrency control and recovery purpose. Right? The transactions. What are transactions? A set of SQL commands executing. Those set of commands we can call as the transactions. Which transactions can run concurrently, which should not run concurrently, which has to be run serially. All those things of specifying you can do through transaction control commands. SQL has a language construct for specifying the granting or revoking of privileges to users. As you know, DBA staff or the owner of the table will be there, and he can grant privileges for some users to interact with the table, and he can revoke some users' access as well. Thus, you can use a grant and revoke to give access to the database. This is a feature of SQL, and SQL has language constructs for creating triggers. As I already said, what are triggers? It has an constructs or a way in which we can create triggers. Right? These are also referred as active database techniques, since they specify actions that are automatically triggered by events such as database updates. Right? If there is one database or a table update, it would trigger another event that could update something else. So this kind of triggers are provided in the SQL. SQL has incorporated many features from object-oriented models to have more powerful capabilities, leading to an enhanced relational system known as object relational. So, as you know, what is object-oriented programming paradigm? That kind of object orientation models are incorporated by the SQL so that it can provide much more powerful, capable answers to the many practical issues. And that's called as object relational models have been there with the SQL. Thank you.